I watched the pro scene to see what we can gather as a current meta at the highest level of play in the finals. The esports is actually starting to take off with weekly tournaments that are actually streamed and casted and the whole 9 yards. It's not as big as other esports, but we did have some good news last week that came in with Team Envy being announced as one of the official partners. They're going to be having a team in there, and it's rumored, I don't know if this is true or not, I was looking in the comments, they're saying that Space Station Gaming, Envy, and Alliance are all joining as orgs to be in the finals esports tournament that's coming up. The major that's happening in Stockholm, if you're in the area, that'll be awesome. But with thousands of dollars on the line, with a bunch of moolah on the line that you can potentially gain or lose, it only makes sense for teams to use the best possible loadouts and compositions that they can think of in order to have the best chances of actually getting that money. I think there's $50,000 on the line with the Stockholm tournament. I might be wrong on that one. So these dudes really want to win, and I was watching some of the tournaments play out. I was curious what everybody was using, and almost across the board, the entire composition and almost all the loadouts were exactly the same, copy and pasted across everybody. Before I continue though, make sure to do me a favor and smash that like and subscribe button. It really helps out. For composition, every single team that I saw play was a mix of light, medium, and heavy. It's just HLM across the board. Everybody was doing that. It seems like we have the same composition that we've had for over a year now, which is a good thing. It means that each class has its clearly defined role and things that it's supposed to counter. It's a good thing. We don't want to go back to the days of triple mediums with defibs and healing beams. Oh my god. Speaking of specializations, I saw the specializations were almost the exact same across the board. Nobody was playing anything else but having evasive dash on light, medium had DMAT everywhere. In fact, I asked in chat at one point, is anybody using guardian turret or healing beam in the pro scene? Is anybody doing that? They're like, no, dude, that would be throwing if you did that, is what I was like. All right, damn, dude, damn. I thought like with everybody, with all the teams, like if you watch the way that they play in the pro scene, everybody is glued to one another. The teams move in units and everybody is side by side. I was thinking like if you're that close to one another, maybe a healing beam would actually be useful in that point, but no, everybody runs DMAT. And on the heavy, this one I was shocked about, maybe because I haven't paid attention too much to the pro scene in previous seasons, but the winch claw was unanimous. Everybody was using the freaking goddamn get over here ability, which makes sense when you look at games like League of Legends or Marvel Rivals. Having a pull or a stun or a root on a team is extremely powerful and will always be in every single comp. So winch claw is almost a must, kind of just like having a freaking Nautilus on your team is also awesome in League. As for weapons and gadgets, I wasn't able to see too much of what everybody's carrying because they don't let you see what everybody's using at one given time. Surprisingly, I saw the 220 being rolled on some of the light classes. It wasn't as prevalent, but having that long range and like almost no recoil seems to be useful enough to where people can poke from a range. I noticed that people using this gun on the light class, they were usually poking from afar, doing some chunk damage, some chip damage, to which the infuser actually comes in clutch, and that's why people carry that. I saw the burst pistol a few times. That was kind of crazy. I like to see that. That was good. I saw the Matter once or twice. And of course, the LH1 and X54 are also still pretty decent on the light class. So any of those, depending on the situation, depending on what you're playing, how your play style is, what map you're playing against, you can pick from one of those. The next spot is almost a granted. I don't need to stay on it too much. The H plus infuser. If you're not rolling that, you're probably not there to win. So you got that. I saw Gateway being used quite often, and Goo Grenade were also a very good use, good pickup. Glitch grenades came up every so often. I don't see people running that as much since heavies for the most part are choosing to use the winch claw over the bubble, and the dome shield is almost non-existent if you have your entire team shooting at it. So the glitch grenade, not so useful. I think I saw the nullifier maybe once or twice as well, but Goo Grenade still comes in clutch. You probably want to carry that over anything. I wasn't going to say it here, I was going to say it in the medium class, but while I'm here, the gas grenade or just gas in general was so prevalent. This was another common theme that I noticed. Like everybody is running gases in the game. So you might want to have some way of countering that, whether your heavy is playing flamethrower, which if he is at that league, you're probably griefing. You're probably not there to win again, but you need to have some way to counter a gas grenade. So a pyro grenade flame is almost a must on one of your teammates if with all the amount of gas that's being thrown. People are farting up a storm. Moving on to the medium class, of course, I said the DMAT is almost a must. That is unanimous. Everybody was rolling that. FAMAS was the most common gun, especially with the new skin that came out. God, that skin looks fire. Look at this skin out here, dude. mean, it's a freaking camcorder, bro. This is sick. Oh my God, this is awesome, man. And it's pretty damn cheap, $850. Damn, dude. I'm kind of tempted to get it right now, to be honest. But anyways, the FAMAS was king. I saw some mad lads running the Magnum. That was a little confusing and shocking. I don't know how they did, but that was crazy. That was wild to see in pro play. If I was in the pro scene, I'd be running the CL40 just because like it basically counters so much utility that everybody else is using, dude. I love the CL. Jesus Christ, I've been maining that thing. F-Car is still wild. Pike is still wild. People are running that thing, and those are your choices when it comes in terms of weaponry for the medium class. For his kit, gas mine, I think was also pretty damn prevalent. Like I said, gas is just everywhere. People were farting up a storm. Jump pad is also almost a must. There were some techniques, there were some strats I saw people doing. If you don't know, you're able to drop the jump pad and then pick it back up and then reuse it almost within a few seconds. The cooldown when you pick it back up is very, very fast. So what they would do in order to get their team across the map very fast, you'll see I'm putting some footage up on screen right now. The medium puts down a jump pad. The team jumps across. The light leaves a gateway behind. Medium picks up the jump pad and then takes the gateway. And now you have a free, dude, that was interesting to see. So jump pad was very common. Defib, I don't know how much of that I saw. It was common. I don't know if it's as common as it used to be, especially with its now buff or nerfed cooldown. You might want to swap it out with like a pyronade to cancel out any of the gases in there. You can also, the zip line is also very useful, but situational. If you have a jump pad and a gateway, maybe it's not as useful. I don't think I saw anybody using the breach charge. Rip breach charge. But yeah, that is the medium class. I'm not sure if I saw anybody using the data reshaper. I haven't touched that thing ever. I think I used it once when it came out, and then I just never put it back into my loadout. So take that with what you will. I am not a pro player, by the way, but hey, if Team Sentinels wants to sign me, I'm a free agent. Now everybody's favorite, the big old heavy dude. First of all, here's what we need to do. We need to change his style. If you don't know, they buffed the heavy class a couple patches ago, and they literally buffed the heavy class. There we go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Dude, look at this. Dude, look at them freaking thighs, man. Damn. My dude be looking like freaking P. Diddy at one of them parties right now. Like, Jesus, look at this guy. This dude can probably crush an egg in between his pecs, man. Anyway, for the heavy, the specialization, like I said, is the winch claw. That is a staple. Everybody was running that. In terms of weaponry, the Shack 50 was one of the most common things. I saw the KS-23 once or twice. Wasn't that common, but it's still, especially with its most recent patch buff where it's hit scan up 25 meters, is decent right now, but more often than not, they were running the SA-12 shotgun. That or the Shack 50 is probably going to be your most used choice. If you want to go crazy and wild, you go the MGL, but that's just me. For gadgets, I saw Dome Shield quite often, even though Dome Shield doesn't really last long. When you have a full team shooting it, it seems like this ability is just like, you could trade it out with something else. With how fast it goes down, you might have better use of utility putting it with something else, like an RPG or like a hailing emitter or something like that. You might have a better off. This is kind of swappable. I did see the barricade though, and I saw this insane play. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it with all that footage, but like, is the barricade. You just set one down, you go Fortnite wall, and then you're good to go. It's huge. That's why I'm saying a healing emitter might also be a good pick, because you can put it behind your barricade, get some heal with it. It's also pretty decent. And Lockbolt. Lockbolt, I'm not sure how often it was being used. This might be the case where people were running the pyro grenade on the heavy instead, since it doesn't have as much utility option as the other classes will. Like in the medium class, instead of running pyro, you have other good options that you can choose. On the heavy class, you don't really have many good choices that in terms of utility and canceling things out. But yeah, that is the meta according to the pros over at prohubs.tf. I had to Google search it just so my left hand doesn't accidentally type something else. This is the current prize pool that they got going on is $21.30. I think it also runs off of donations that you do to the streams. The next games that they have is on August 8th. Both EU and NA are going to be playing off there. I am planning on having a watch party, so make sure to go follow me on Twitch for that. August 2nd is the day. Make sure to mark the calendar, and I'll see you there.